Hello, I'm David Harris, and I'm from Starkville, Mississippi. I'm a certified Ross instructor, so I'll be using the Ross name off and on throughout the painting. Of course, these names and a lot of the phrases that Bob used are copyright. So unless you're a Ross instructor or have some relationship with the company, some sort of permission, you don't need to use these things in a video. Now, I have prepared this canvas, you can see, with Bob Ross black gesso around the edge, and it's not real specific. I'm using actually a little bit less than Bob did. Bob did a lot of back painting of the trees and so forth with gray gesso. I'm just going to do this much and then do most of the painting with the oils. I have also covered this painting with a very, very thin, and I'm going to stress that a little bit extra, very thin coat of liquid clear. Now, liquid clear is a great tool for painting because it allows pure color to come through. It doesn't dilute your color at all. Now, there are some things with liquid clear that you do need to know. One is don't use too much. Two is it reacts violently to thinner. So don't clean that brush until you're totally through with the sky at the very least. I'll be way into the painting before I clean the brush. So I'm going to start this thing. I've got my paints already on my palette. Got titanium white, a little bit of Prussian blue, and that's just to mix greens with, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson. This time I'm using Indian yellow. I don't use the Indian very often, but Indian yellow is a little more transparent than the other yellows. So it does a really good job when you want to see through it. And last, I've got some cadmium yellow, and that's just mainly for the highlights. Now I'm going to go ahead and start this painting. I'm going to start with a little bit of white. I'm going to brighten the area where the light is coming through. Just throw a little bit of white up here, all right around this area. Can't see it. That's okay, it's there. Now I'm going to go to Indian yellow. Much stronger color. I don't need nearly as much in the brush. And I'm going to start around that area of white. And just mix it around there. I can let it go anywhere from there. Any color that I'm going to be using, this is very much a glaze in the sky. So anything that I use around the edge, I can cover up easily. I've got Indian yellow, white, I think if you watched the last painting, you know that I'm partial to alizarin crimson. So now I'm going to do a little bit of that. Not cleaning brushes or anything, I'm just going to throw it, I think I'll just throw it right here with that yellow. Not going to hurt a thing. And I'm going to touch just a little of it. I don't want to get too crazy with it. It can come on a lot stronger. Come right around the outside of all of that. In the corner. Right around, blend it in nicely. And everything's looking really good. gonna come in next with a little bit of dark sienna right around the edges. I'll do dark sienna and alizarin crimson. Just brown that a little bit. I'm gonna come right up here in the corner. This corner. Blend that in with the wrist. Then across the top. A little down here, you see I start going horizontally when I hit the area that I know is going to have water. Water's always flat. You take away from it when you move the tool in a direction not consistent with the lay of the land. Okay, I think I can start doing stuff now. Blend just a little bit more. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I've got some way distant background trees. Now I want them pretty neutral. They're off in the distance here. I'm going to use, rather than these strong colors, I'm going to use just a tiny bit of Van Dyke brown, maybe a little of that dark sienna, and some white. I don't need these things to come on strong, way off in the distance. Now, I'm not going to use, I'm going to see if I can get by without using thinner in my brush, because as I said earlier, the thinner reacts quite strongly to the presence of liquid clear. Oh, there's a few of them off in the distance. Put these details on. They don't have to be a lot. Well, I'll mess up a little bit down at the base of it. Some weeds, some bushy stuff. Hey, that's all it's got to be. We'll take my 2-inch brush, pull the bottom of it down and across. I'll take my knife and put, let's not go with pure white. Put a little bit of that same color, that Van Dyke brown and white mix. And maybe I'll make a little line in there. It came out dark, that's okay. I don't care. So, there's a little bit of land, way off in the distance. I need to put some more of that kind of stuff in. Now, I'll be moving forward a little bit closer to the viewer in the painting, so I'm going to grab just a tiny bit more Van Dyke brown, put in it, let it come on just a tiny, tiny bit stronger. A little bit more contrast. And again, I'm not going to use thinner in my liner unless I just absolutely have to. So I'm going to come over here. Maybe there's another cypress, a bit bigger, right in there somewhere. Put some limbs on it. These limbs are mainly sloping down, or maybe they start up a little bit and then they slope down. They're kind of scraggly. And the cypress, this one's a little closer, so I'm going to flare that bottom out a little bit. Cypress just has a flared bottom where it meets the water. I'm going to mess it up right along here again. And maybe I'll even put some cypress knees. I'm from Mississippi, and you're down here, you know that cypress trees grow some little protrusions out in the water of roots, and they stick up. They're kind of oddball looking things. So maybe those are some cypress news. And we'll just mess all this up. Maybe it can be a little bit of bushiness and grass and stuff growing up in there. Nothing too fancy. We'll grab the bottom of this. I'm going to pull it down. Maybe this one a little bit closer, a little bit darker. Maybe I'll even put a little bit of a reflection down in there. Doesn't have to be anything special, very much. I'll pull it down. I'll pull that little area across. A little water line at the base of it. Use a little more white this time. See if that comes on better. And, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Sliding the knife back and forth, make a little transition point where the land and the water meet. Let's do some more of that stuff. Let's put, let's see. I don't see any point in putting anything else over there. Maybe I'll put one leaning over here. Now, I don't try to necessarily mimic what Bob Ross did. You see that I kind of deviate a little bit, do my own thing, and you should really do that too. Make these paintings yours. You don't have to be a great painter to make paintings that reflect what you like, what you see, the way you see it. A few knees in there. Grass, and I'll just poke at it. It really doesn't have to be anything too special. This is off in the haze. Can't see it very well. Hot and steamy. And we'll get a few little limbs on that. I need to create a little bit of stuff on those limbs, and I'm still just using the liner brush, just knocking it in. One of the things that I see students do all the time is follow the exact curvature of a limb, and if you do that, it looks funny. You need to make this stuff in kind of horizontal planes. You don't even have to be able to see the limb. So we've got a reasonable representation of some cypress trees off in the swamp. Bob has a big palm tree right in this area. I don't put that in, and that's just because my part of the country, you wouldn't see a big palm tree in the swamp. In fact, you just rarely would ever see a palm tree at all. But it would be loaded with cypress. It's been a while since I've painted this painting, so we'll just have to see how well it does. I'm going to go to just a slightly darker color again, same thing. A little more Van Dyke brown in it this time. And it's a little bit closer up. But it's still off in the haze. It's off in the distance. It's a steamy, hot. The steam fades everything. Maybe it'll come all the way from the top and comes out there. I'm still going to use the liner. I don't need to put this all in at once. I can take my time. Flare the bottom of that Cypress Creek. They always flare when they're going to meet the water. And then they need a big foot so they can hang on in all that mud. So there's a little bit darker one. Comes on stronger. We need a few limbs. A lot of just tremendous detail. I'm doing a little bit of social distancing again. What better way to do that than to grab your paintbrush and do a painting. Maybe one more. I don't know how much of this one you'll see. Almost this entire painting with the liner brush so far. That's going to change here shortly. Can't really see where the bottom of that goes, so I'm going to put a few lines on this one. And I think I will clean that liner brush now in the center. Just because it's got so little paint on it, it's going to dry pretty quickly. And don't want to mess up my liner brush. I'm going to change just a little bit. I'm going to take the same color and we'll use a fan brush this time. And clumps of stuff on those. Leave a little bit to the imagination down here. Maybe I'll make that into a little land at the base of that tree. A little stronger color. And go back to Cypress knees in here. All odd shapes. I'm gonna grab my 2-inch brush, pull that down. And across, as always. This is getting fairly close up, so maybe I'll mix up a yellow, a green out of some, and I don't need very much of it, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, looks kind of green to me, and maybe I'll throw a little white in there. Oh, I've got a kind of light green color. I'm going to clean the brush. I'll step into it and take the same liner brush. Now, if you are using the fan brush, one thing you need to be careful to do is paint just with the corner. And the reason for that is when I touch the fan brush like that, I get that arc each and every time. I just did that for demonstration. That doesn't belong there. But if you want to prevent getting a repeating shape, use just the corner of that fan brush. I emphasize it's probably the biggest problem brush to use because of that repeated shape. We have to be careful not to get it. We'll throw a little bit of green down here. Yeah, that really looks good. Touch just a little back there. So that's looking pretty good so far. We need to think about bigger shapes now. And I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning on my palette here because we're going to really dark stuff now. Maybe I'll leave that. I'm going to come in with Van Dyke Brown, and I'm going to throw it right on top of that. A little bit of alizarin crimson and dark sienna. Doesn't really matter what color we get as long as it's dark. Dark is important. Maybe I'll throw a little more alizarin in there just to kind of tie it in with the rest of the stuff in the painting. See if I can make it all work together really nicely. So, I'm going to start. I've got a big shape on this side. Get the corner in that. We're in a tree. We're not in grass. So I'm using the corner of the brush. And go up here. And you can see I'm not restricted by where that black is. That's just an aid in helping me darken things. And I can throw a big shape over on this side. Oh, we'll cover up all that. That looks too good. That looks pretty good. It's really strong. Things are coming out really nicely. I'm going to take my liner brush and I think I'll go in with a little bit of white maybe and a little bit of that darker color that I just used. I need to make it light because if I don't make it light, it's not going to show up. It didn't show up very much. Maybe I'll bring a little more white into it. I'll put some work here that maybe is a framework. I'll be doing a lot of highlights, so it's not all going to stand out like it does right now. So let's use a little bit more of that green, and I'm going to let it vary. It'll go from just that same green to I want it to appear to be a lot of varied vegetation in here. Maybe I'll go to more yellow right in there. Every time I use Indian yellow. Be sure not to cover everything up. Maybe on this outside one, I'll brighten it a little bit and use more cadmium yellow. I've got some variation in the colors here. And maybe I'll get a little bit of crimson going and come up with something here that has kind of an orangey tone. We've got a lot of things happening here. Grow a little grass at the base of it. Go back to some yellow. Put that right in there. Get a little different push of the brush, see what happens. I get a lot of variation of things in here. Let's see, let's go to, I don't know, more green. Too blue. Grab more yellow. Better. A little bit of green happening right over here. Use the side of the brush. Done this painting many, many times. Not lately, but many times nonetheless. And maybe same thing, a little more yellow involved. And I can do any number of things to put in little shapes and sticks and things, but I think, well, we're not going to be able to use the knife edge because the back paint is that black. So, I'm going to grab my little liner brush, and down here on black, I think, and I've already got a good bit of paint sticking up there, so I think I can use a little bit of thinner with it, and maybe come up with a few sticks. That light color looks good. One of the things that I see people do a lot is if a color doesn't work, they sit there and try to force it to make it work. And when they do that, they stir colors together and you come up with a muddy mess. And muddiness are bad. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get some paint down here on the bottom, and I think I'm going to use a pile of Van Dyke brown, a little more alizarin crimson. I think I'll throw a little bit of yellow of dark sienna in it. I'm going to make out a rich brown color. I'm going to coat the entire bottom of the thing with it. So my blotch there that I made just went away. It doesn't really matter how we put that on. What you're going to see is the highlight. This is a very rich color painting. I really like it. You know, if in this series I'm kind of picking on some of the ones, some of my absolute favorite paintings, and this has got to be top 5. This is one of my favorite paintings in all of Bob Ross. Okay. I'm going to shoot myself a little bit more Van Dyke brown, because I'm going to make a couple really big cypress trees. And they're going to come over here in this big blank area. I'm going to grab my fan brush. And I'm going to wash it out. I do have another one sitting over here. I may actually use the dry one. I think I will. I reach over here and grab a nice dry fan brush. I'm going to pull through both sides. I've got enough paint in there to really kick that brush. I'm going to start up here at the top of the canvas, come straight down. Load it again, do it again. Maybe I'll start down here this time. And again, nice and wide down there. It's got that cypress flare to it. And maybe I'm going to do 2 of those. Another one right here. More paint. Bigger tree. Big old flare. I'll do what it takes to make this interesting painting. And this is one of my absolute favorites. I guess you're drawn to, you know, where you live. It doesn't take me very long to get to a swamp. In the same county as the Knoxville Wildlife Refuge. It's very swampy, lots of cypress trees out there. Maybe there's a couple big old cypress knees right in there. Okay, switch to the liner brush and start putting some limbs on these. Good old Van Dyke brown. I Thinned it a little bit, but I don't want to get it too thin on that liquid clear. Oh, we're just putting a few limbs on these things. Don't want to kill all my background to the time putting it in there. And yet, I've got to cross it some, otherwise it doesn't count. And here I'm going to make a really big, strong limb. You can see how strong this thing is. This is just super dramatic. See how that big tree just crosses that light in the sky? It's a super dramatic thing. Hope everybody is faring well at their social distancing efforts. I missed one thing, and that's my painting classes. Not real pleased at having to miss those. So we've got some nice stuff going on here. I think I'll go ahead and do a little bit of highlighting on these trees. Probably should have done that before I put all those limbs on there, but that's all right. I picked up some of this old mixed color. Go down the right side. Don't want to get it too bright. I just daub some up there and working it up and down. Maybe I better darken that just a touch. On Cypress, really that color would probably be more of a muddy brown. But I'm into drama right now. So let's do a little bit of drama. It's amazing what you can do with this knife. You get you one, get you some Bob Ross equipment, and start learning to use it, because it can do things that with paints that nothing else can do. I'm painting at my place of employment, which if you're a ham radio person and you say the town names start with Mississippi, one name comes to mind, and that name is MFJ Enterprises. And MFJ manufactures a lot of Ham Amateur Radio Components. They're really nice people to work for, and they produce really good product. We got changed to my one-inch brush. Work a little bit of stuff. Maybe there's grass growing all up in there. At the base of those trees, right across there. Pretty low on the canvas. I don't want to lose all my space. Maybe it needs another color too, here and there. Just to jazz it up a little bit. Get all kinds of little interesting things happening in here. And one of the things I've got to do, this is water down in here. I've got to light it, and I don't have to do anything super fancy to do that. I can just come across here and actually force light into this water. I don't want too much. Maybe it's a little darker. Reflection of those trees. I have to come back and run that across again. Kind of neat. There's not much limit to what you can do. Maybe I want it a little. Right. No good reason, just that's what I want. I'm painting so I can have it. I think I'll put bit of a water line. This time I'm going to make it kind of, I don't know, muddy, murky water line up close. Don't want it too bright. Slide it right in there. Oh yeah. I'm sure I've deviated quite a bit from what Bob did. I know I have. I started in the beginning from deviating. And that's it. When you grab a paintbrush, you're free to make the world like you want to make it. I'm still having fun with this. I think I'm going to take a little bit of color right there. Just for no good reason. A little bit of an island. See if I can pile up enough color here to highlight with. There's a lot of color when you highlight. The objective is to get color to stick up there with pretty much no effort. So that's what provides the detail. You used to have so much on the brush, it just comes off effortlessly. Just top of that, very little underneath. Maybe I'll put a little stick growing on it. Out at Knoxville Refuge, we have alligators. And I have put alligators floating out there in a little pool. Maybe I'll put a little creek there. But to tell you the truth, this painting is done, and I better quit before I mess it up. I have enjoyed doing this today. Again, my effort at social distancing, I hope that you have enjoyed seeing me do it, and maybe I won't have to do too many of these before the COVID-19 pandemic is over with. We'll sign this thing. And call it a done deal. By the way, this is a painting from Bob Ross, Joy Painting Book 29, and the name of it is Cypress Creek. Again, I hope that you have enjoyed it. I certainly have. Thank you for watching.